Hello, everybody. Raven fans, Oriole fans, thank you for joining us here. Sorry we are a little late with the Ravery Sports podcast, but we are getting it in now. Thank you for joining us this evening, very late. So thank you for joining. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. So we're definitely, if you're watching us right now, you're watching us on our Twitch channel, on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, or on our X page or Twitter, as it's called. Both of those actually work. So that's good. So like you put Twitter in and you put X in and they both work still. So I don't know what they're actually calling it. Both of those as well. Business out the way, bottom of the screen. Genesis Notary Services. Definitely that's my notary business, but getting more calls. Thank everybody out there that's reached out that's going ahead and doing that. Genesis Notary Services / Facebook. You can book the appointment right on the website. So definitely do that as well. You will come right out and do it. Handle your notary business with care. Also, to our Maryland basketball preview on the 23-24 season is on November 6th. Okay, so our Maryland basketball preview is going to be on that day. We can watch the Terps all season long. The next day starts the season. We are going to preview it along with a lot of the Big Ten out here. So definitely that's what we're going to do. Watch basketball all season long, Terps basketball as well. And we're going to preview it here. ravorisports.company.site is the website. So definitely you can buy a lot of our merchandise right on the website. Oriole hats like this, like this. That's why we wear it. So we can let you know. The Oriole hats, Oriole jerseys, Oriole t-shirts. I even have like a couple of the Jim Palmer jerseys, I call them, like the Orioles broadcast jersey. One of them is on there as well. Definitely check us out on the Orioles on our website. Orioles and Ravens information is on there. So definitely go ahead and check that out as well. All right. So we're going to go ahead and talk football here. Do want to say this outside of sports right now. There's a lot of bad stuff going on for a lot of people right now. I know these are tough times, economically tough times in general for a lot of people. I've never seen times like this financially for so many people. Rough stuff going on. So do want to acknowledge that out there. If you're out there going through it and you're watching this and you're going through that right now, my family has been going through it, and a lot of families are going through it and everything like that. And so my hope is, like, this has always been for me, the Ravens and the Orioles and Terps and all this stuff gets you through the day, gets you distracted enough, gets you to go through the day, gives you an outlet to go ahead and make it to the next day. Hey, look, you spending an hour here with me tonight, watching football, talking about getting some football discussions and baseball discussion. We're going to go a little college basketball, a couple other sports topics. So we are hoping for that. So don't want to be insensitive to all those stuff. Talk economic times. We got a war going on, and it talks to a lot of bad stuff. So we hope that this is a good distraction for you and a good vehicle for you to go ahead and make it through your day. All right. We got women that don't want to eat the Cheesecake Factory. I just watched that video. That's hilarious. I've never had a date that bad. My goodness. That was crazy. All right. Let's talk about football. Ravens and Titans review last week. And so we got that taken care of. Ravens were successful in Nashville, 24-16 over the Tennessee Titans. Well, I'm sorry, they weren't in Nashville. They were in London. Titans obviously play in Nashville. Tennessee Titans were successful in London, 24-16. I heard a lot of criticism about the Ravens efforts. I liked it. I think they could have done better. Absolutely punching the ball in. This has been a bit of a theme. When you have drives, you got to go ahead and punch it in. You can't kick field goals. Too much Tucker on the field. Other than that, I thought they played very well. I think that the defense has been outstanding. So let's take a look at it. Much better from Lamar. I thought that was as good as he's ever looked as a passer in this game. 21 for 30, 233, one touchdown. He did have the bad interception in this one. I don't know. I think Bateman ran the wrong route in the end zone, or there was some kind of miscommunication there. He did have the one interception, 13 rushing yards, 62 on the ground. 13 carries, 62 rushing yards. I thought Lamar was sensational. He was fantastic. Didn't have a lot of drops in this one. Hallelujah. The wide receiving core played much better in this one. So I think the outstanding stuff by Lamar. I thought he was excellent. Best player on the field. No question about it. Gus Edwards. Not as good a day for Gus in this one. I thought Gus, this has kind of been where he lives his stat line all year long, about 30 to 50 yards each game, 12, 13 carries. Yards per was down. I thought the Titans were kind of more keying up on him a little bit more. I think you got to. I think like you still. It's clear that I've said it a couple times. John Harbaugh's not going to use him as a bell cow. He's just going to spell him in and out. I don't know if it's an injury or whatever it is. I would like to see him get a little bit more of a heavier workload. See if he can get 100 yards, 100 carries, or something like that. Zay Flowers in this one. Word is getting around how good Zay Flowers is. He's been very good this year. I thought this was his worst game. But he still was good. I wouldn't say big. I think maybe that's too strong of a word. But he didn't play not as much volume, I thought, for him in this one as he could have had. But 6 receptions, 50 yards, first touchdown. I thought it was an outstanding move at the goal line, getting the Ravens touchdown from Lamar Jackson, their best receiver. There's been no question about it. Rashad Bateman has been a little frustrated with everything. Odell, I got no problem with Odell. Did not as many catches, things like that. Got into the fight with Jeffrey Simmons apparently after the game, pushing and shoving, going on. I'll take that. Odell, I was very more encouraged by Odell. 8 sacks by the Ravens defense, 2 each. Justin Matabuke is leading the team, 4.5 sacks on the year, 4.5. Jadeveon now at 3.5 sacks. Both had 2 in this game. Look, Jadeveon, I've been on his case. He can play like he's got to get the guys to the ground. Everybody seems to be so excited. This guy's flying through the line and missing the tackle. That doesn't do anything. Okay, get the guy to the ground. Fundamentally sound. And Matabuke, that's the sound of the price going up. Every time he can, he's really good. I really think he is one of the really good underrated guys in the league. Really do think so. He is doing very well. I think he has a good chance at getting 10 sacks this year. He's good in the run, Matabuke, and good in the pass. Clowney is a superior athlete, regardless of whatever else I've said. He's a fantastic athlete. No question about it. Just needs to be more fundamentally sound. Tannehill, will he ever start again for the Titans? Wonder. Did have an injury. He still was the leading passer. 8 passes. I'm sorry, 8 for 16, 76 yards, 1 INT. I was watching this on Twitter a lot, and man, there was a lot of calls for Tannehill's head. They put Malik Willis in, and you see why they didn't take him out. Not good enough from Tannehill. Tannehill used to be better quarterback than what we've seen. I don't know if he plays anymore. I mean, they may just decide just to go ahead. Rumors of trading this guy here. Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had a good day. Derrick Henry, 12 carries, 97 yards. Derrick Henry was really good. Derrick Henry had a long runs as well. I do think he's not the same player. He's still really good. I think he's still top. I mean, that's relative. I mean, compared to most backs in the league, yes, you'd rather have Derrick Henry. But Derrick Henry there was a time you couldn't tackle, just couldn't tackle. One guy just wasn't going to get it. I don't think he's that anymore. I think it is a bit of a slide. I think they are open to trade. I mean, I think they realize like they're not just there's only so far they can get with this team, so they're trying to rebuild. So yeah, she's gonna go ahead and get Derrick Henry, try and trade Derrick Henry. We'll see that happens. Tajay Spears was the leading receiver. D Hop, I think, was covered very well by Brandon Stevens and Marlon Humphrey in this game. Marlon Humphrey was much better this time around. They didn't do much at all in the pass game. They didn't score much. I thought the secondary, I think, for the Ravens, pleasant surprise. Titans, wide receivers, not as productive as they had hoped outside of DeAndre Hopkins. That's exactly why they brought him in. Titans have real problems here. Defensively, the Ravens moved the ball a lot, but they didn't finish drive. This is the guy, though. Kevin Bart, 8 tackles. I mean, I think he's their top defensive player along with Jeffrey Simmons. He was kind of all over the field as well. Bart he's so good, he kind of sneaks up on you. Like when I talk about the Terps and Bro Braid, he's so good, people don't realize that sometimes a good safety does it very quietly. That's what he does. Definitely the clear leader of the defense as well. Ravens did score a lot of points. He did a good job keeping them out of the end zone. So this was a good win for the Ravens, 24-16 in London. Tremendous spectacle again. That was very cool looking game that they had as well. So I thought the Ravens did very well in this one. They did fantastic from start to finish. So good job by the Baltimore Ravens getting the victory. Now I will say, as we move on here, we're stepping up in class here. We're going to go ahead and preview this game when the Ravens play the Detroit Lions. That Lions record is right, 5-1. They have the best record in the NFC North, and they probably, I think, this might be the best team in the NFC, not named the San Francisco 49ers. They're really good. Let's talk about the Ravens first, though, as good as I think the Lions are. Lamar Jackson is going to go ahead and start again, obviously, for the Ravens. You see what Lamar's done: 1,200 yards, 1,263, 5 TDs, 3 interceptions as well. The passing percentage is fantastic for Lamar. He's over, I think the only reason he's not over 70% is because of all the drops in the previous game, in the Steeler game, kind of dropped this percentage down to like 50-some% in that game. And because it wasn't anything you could do. Lamar is passing very, very well. He's still running the ball, I think, well. I think he's deliberately not, I don't want to say he's not trying to break big runs, but he's doing it as needed. Passer isn't there. He's just running a little bit. He's still getting 50, 60 yards. He still might get 1,000 yards a game. But clearly the design runs is way down. All right, he's definitely in pass mode here. Gus Edwards, 72 carries, 5,255 yards. He's the leading rusher at the running back position for the Ravens as well. Ravens did make a move. They did go ahead and release Kenyon Drake from the track shot. We are going to see, it looks like, Keaton Mitchell for the first time in this game here. I didn't even see him on the IR on the report. So definitely we're going to go ahead and have him in the game starting. So that is good news that the Ravens are going to have a Keaton Mitchell along with Gus Edwards, who has been fantastic. This might be the best rookie receiver in the entire AFC. Zay Flowers, 35 catches, 367, one tight end, one TD rather. I think Zay's been really good. I think now, even last week here's what was impressive with me last week about Zay Flowers. He's now, the first couple weeks, he had big days, and Odell was getting most of the attention. More of the attention now, the Tennessee Titans, they were paying to him, and he still got in the end zone, had a productive day. Very good sign. Let's see if that continues. Mark Andrews has also, I think, gotten better over the last few weeks. I think he's been hurt, but steadily coming up that production. You don't have to worry about Mark Andrews though. He's been fantastic all year. 3.5 sacks. Jadeveon Clowney. Look, he can go ahead and wrap up and get fundamentally sound and get his hands on the quarterback. I think that is a good thing. I would say, though, in this one, Ravens second in the NFL in sacks. This is known though, as the best offensive line maybe in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. So this is like strength on strength here when you're actually seeing this. Lions, what do they look like? Jared Goff. Jared Goff's been fantastic. I thought he was kind of always maligned. He took a lot of blame for what happened with the line. I mean, look, I'm not so sure that they're better off with Stafford. The way Goff has looked. Goff has not had a lousy first year. He's had a very interesting career. Jared Goff had first year was kind of seen as a bust, was awful. He comes back to camp next year. He was fantastic. Does a lot better, etc. They get him to a Super Bowl in Los Angeles. Then all of a sudden he kind of fell out of favor with McVay. With Sean McVay was benched. They got rid of him very quietly, sent him to Detroit, which was lousy. And now the Lions aren't so lousy. Lions are good. They're good because of him, too. 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Good pocket passer. He can hit his receivers as well. This is going to be a tall task. David Montgomery was starting a lot for this year. He's going to be out for a while. Jamar Gibbs was the first round pick. So he was scheduled to start. I think we're going to see a lot of him in this one as well. I don't know if he'll play, but he should. This is a guy that you definitely have to worry about. Fantastic at Alabama. Jamar Gibbs was fantastic as well. But this is the alpha dog that they have. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 38 receptions already, 455 and 3 TDs. So he's been fantastic. Definitely going to be a tall task for Brandon Stevens and definitely going to be a tall task for Brandon Stevens to go ahead and keep an eye on him. I think it's going to be Stevens. You want to put a more physical guy on him. He's a more physical wide receiver. So I definitely think this is the guy that you want to go ahead and put on him to go ahead and get that squared away. They are going to have their hands full in this one here to go ahead and take care of that there as well. Who else is there? I think this guy is just getting started. Aiden Hutchinson is fantastic. Fantastic. He only had 9.5 sacks last year, but I think he's due to break out soon. Aiden Hutchinson is, you could scratch that. He's not due to break out. He's fantastic. He is, I call a guy like Aiden Hutchinson a Michael Strahan type guy, or a Michael Strahan type, or a Reggie White type. There are guys that are pass rushers are in several categories. They're speed rushers, they're power rushers, they're guys that stop the run, they're guys that do certain things. Like Hassan Reddick is very fast. This guy, Aiden Hutchinson, is complete, period. He can do it all. He's outstanding. I think, and he's very vital. You contain Aiden Hutchinson, you can kind of contain their pass rush. So that's a big deal. Getting Aiden Hutchinson under control. I think Ravens win this one very, very close. The Lions are really good. The Lions are no joke. I think neither of the Ravens. Ravens just need to play 4 quarters. That's the only problem. I like them at home. I think if this game on the road, maybe not. But at home, I do like them. And I think maybe we need a 71-yard field goal from Justin Tucker. Played the Lions in 2013. Last 2 times he played in Detroit. He had 61-yarder. Win the game. The last time we all remember the 66-yard field goal to go ahead and win that game. So I like the Ravens very, very close over the line. This will be close. But I like the Ravens to win in this one. Physical game. There's going to be this is 2 good offenses and 2 physical teams. These are 2 of the best teams in the NFL playing on Sunday on Fox. Keep that in mind, CBS. They keep saying earlier this year they made a big deal about how Fox and CBS, one is no longer the NFC, no one, the other one is no longer the AFC. Basically, that's what I've still seen though. Most of the AFC games are in CBS. Most of the NFC games are Fox. So we'll go ahead and check that out as well. And let's go ahead and get that squared away. And so definitely check out all the games this weekend. All right. So let's go ahead and get it popping here with our big five. So, what's the big five? I'm glad you asked. The big five, they are the five biggest games on the schedule that are not Raven games. So let's go ahead and take a look at that as well. Big five last week. Cowboys and the Chargers. That was kind of what I expected. I think the Cowboys. It was interesting to see how good the Cowboys did in a game that was so vital as well. Browns last week over the 49ers. I wasn't as shocked as everybody was. That Browns defense is for real. They're not a joke. They're outstanding. I thought even without Deshaun Watson, that is the best defense in the NFL, maybe the two best in the league. Niners still almost pulled it out with the field goal. I mean, he missed like a 41, which nowadays that's a rare thing. Somebody misses a 41 yard if you have a good kicker. So that was a bit of a surprise as well. So lots of good action last week. We're going to go ahead and get into the games this week. The big five. So 5 biggest games on the schedule. The Thursday night game, Jaguars and the Saints. So these are two teams that are possibly the two best two teams going, I think, in opposite directions. The Jaguars, a lot of preseason hubbub, a lot of teams. They may win this division by default. Both of these teams. I don't know if anybody else wants to win it the way anybody else looks. I think Houston is better in their division, maybe to challenge Jacksonville. Jacksonville has been okay. I do like the Jags. So we do like the Jags here. As far as what they've done this season, they're the Saints. The Saints are a good defensive team. I think they're like fifth in the NFL in offense. Their scoring offense, their car, not so good so far this year. I think he's okay. Still in that division, he's still definitely the best quarterback. Christian Kirk and Ridley, they've been an outstanding duo all season long. I think the Jaguars defense is coming along. They lead the league in takeaways. They have like 15 takeaways, and Okun on defense is really good. Josh Allen, not the quarterback, the defensive guy, is really, really good. I'm gonna take the Jags in this game. I like them over the Saints. Saints offense is really not looking good. Again, I think for the Saints it won't matter. The result of this game, I don't think is going to hurt either team. Excuse me, too bad, because I think they're just they're in divisions that are just lousy, and so they're good enough to win these divisions. Game that's going to be very interesting as well. Browns victorious over the Niners last week, so that was a good win for them. A couple things the Browns did last week. One, I think this defense is for real. This is the best defense in the NFL so far. 79 rush yards as well. They're only giving up 124, 121.4, I think, in the pass game. And here's the mistake they made against the Ravens, and they kind of corrected that, or I don't know if there was an injury or not. PJ Walker started. That's a big difference. Kind of like the same thing. You're starting a guy. You're not starting a rookie. You're not starting a guy. You're starting a guy who's played in a lot of NFL games. With this defense, that's going to be more important. Colts had a lot of bad news this week. They're getting Jonathan Taylor back, so that's obviously good. They lost Anthony Richardson out for the season. Their passing offense isn't bad considering the circumstances. So it's 10. You don't have enough offense against this defense, though. I like the Browns in this one to go ahead and beat the Colts. The Dolphins and the Eagles. Again, interesting here. Two teams. How good are they? I think this is a good litmus test for both teams, so we can find out a lot. The Dolphins are. We know how good Tyreek Hill is. We know how good their offense is. Their offense is first in the NFL. They scored 70 points already in a game this year. These are the two best rush offenses in the league. However, the Dolphins have a good rush offense. They did lose their starting running back. They did lose their starting running back, Devon Acme, in this one. So Mostert is going to take over. Rasheed Mostert is going to take over. Let's see how that matters. A lot of their strength comes from their thunder on offense as well. Defense is not good. Here's the thing: Eagles haven't looked great. I'm not so sure that much better than Dallas. Hurts hasn't been that good this year. He's been kind of like in the middle. As many picks as interceptions. They haven't scored as many points as well. Defense has been a bit down too. I think the Eagles have some issues. They're going to win this game, I think. The Dolphins don't have any defense. So I think they're still, but this will be a test to see if the Eagles really don't do well here. That'll be a litmus test because here's the one thing for sure. You better score against these guys. I'm going to take the Eagles. I think they do actually slow down the Dolphins offense, and the Dolphins don't have enough defense to beat them. The Squealers and the Rams is here. The Squealers are one of the best, have a good record despite these numbers here. 30th in the NFL in total offense, 30th in the NFL in total defense. That's crazy. How are you even have a winning record? They have TJ Watt. They have Micah Fitzpatrick. They're missing some guys that have some parts. I thought it was really eye-opening to see what I saw with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren in the last time when they played the Ravens. I thought that was really, really telling. George Pickens is fantastic. The Rams are – I think the Rams are maybe are going to surprise a lot of people. I thought the Rams would be better than a lot of people thought. Stafford is like third in the NFL in passing yards. This might be one of the best trios right now in terms of receiving cores. Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, and now you got Cooper Kupp back. That's pretty good as well. Defensively, no Jalen Hurts. I mean, I don't think, though, the Steelers are going to score enough to beat these guys. I like the Rams. I think the Steelers are a bit of a paper tiger. They kind of reminded me that the Giants were kind of like this way last year. They kind of won, but one ugly, one in spite of goofy circumstances. So I like the Rams. So I do like the Rams in this one. One more, the Chefs and the Chargers going at it. I don't know what to say about the Chargers. The Chargers have too much talent. You got Nick Bosa, you got Khalil Mack, you got Derwin James. Derwin James is not quite as good this year. You have all the talent in the world on the defensive side, and yet still your defensive ranking is like 31st. What's going on? You got Justin Herbert. He's a good quarterback. I don't. The Chargers are very. It's an anomaly how bad it is. Everybody's getting on Brandon Staley. I don't see how you say anything else. The defense is lousy, and it shouldn't be. You got too many good players. The Chefs have some problems as well. They need a receiver. Everybody downplayed Juju Smith-Schuster's impact on them last year. Oh, it's the system. It's Andy Reid, blah, blah, blah. Their receiving core is not look good at all this year, and it's kind of this kind of struggle when they don't have Kelsey. You can take Kelsey out the game now. You can really diminish their scoring a bit because those other guys haven't stepped up. I believe the Chefs win this game. The Chargers just don't know how to win these type games. They're definitely going to just win games against bad teams as well. Too much talent to be losing like they've been losing at the 500 mark. That just doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, so definitely keep that in mind. Watch the games on Sunday. So definitely go ahead and check out all the games Sunday. Definitely check it out on Sunday. The Big Five, all the games. All right. So let's talk a little Maryland football here. We're going to get to the Orioles. We're going to get to the AL and ALCS real quick. So Terps, bad loss. Bad loss. I watched this game. They look listless. I thought for start to finish, they absolutely, Mike Loxley is going to talk to these guys and say, you guys got to not take these guys for granted. Illinois, I wasn't as confident over the Illinois game as I was Indiana. Indiana wasn't any good. Illinois doesn't have a good record, but they were better than the record. Illinois is not that bad. And you saw it. They were physical at the point of attack. I thought that their slow start, their inconsistency kind of caught up with them in this game. I'm going to say it's about Terps defense. I don't love it. It's very, very, very vanilla. Don't see him ever take chances. Don't see him ever do anything. Don't see him ever push the pocket. Don't see him ever. They kind of run this 3-3-5. And I know it's college, not NFL. You could kind of do, but it's just very bend not break. There's enough players there to kind of like push the issue more, be more aggressive, and they just lacked aggression. Play calling down the stretch too. Mike Loxley, not aggressive, kind of just ran the ball, got some punt. Illinois had no business getting the ball back in this one. So they should have won this game, but they didn't. So they're still going probably to the same bowl. So that's the good news. The next game, I think, is next week against Northwestern. Should win that game as well. Northwestern's still struggling. So we will see what happens with the Terps as they go along. Pretty sure they're going to a bowl game a few weeks and November 4th. I know they're going to go ahead and play Penn State. I watched a lot of Maryland Penn State games growing up. So we're going to go more in depth when they're playing the Nittany Lions as well. Nittany Lions with a big game on Saturday. Big new Saturday game, Ohio State and Penn State. That's a big game. They're going to go at it as well. Sizzle into the Hall of Fame for the Ravens Ring of Honor. So definitely well-deserved. I talk about the pass rush all the time. I think they miss Terrell Suggs still. This guy was exactly what you need. Outstanding. Had it not been for Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and all those guys, there's no way this guy isn't the best player on a defense. Sizzle used to come in and just raise his arms up. He was fantastic. He was fantastic at defensive end. He was fantastic wherever you put him. Durable for a long time. Well-deserved trip into the Ring of Honor. One of the great defensive players in NFL history. And soon, it's only a matter of time before he goes into camp because he's fantastic. Terrell Suggs going into the Ravens Ring of Honor as well. ALCS. So right now, as we sit here, the Rangers are up 2-1 over the Astros. Astros got one game in as well on the road to actually go ahead and get that squared away. So Astros, 7 straight ALCS appearances. Astros have been very good. I know they cheated to win one World Series. That's impressive. I think they have a fantastic team. Rangers have been on a roll. They finally lost their first game. I think it was 9 consecutive postseason games that they have won. They're doing it in all phases. I don't think it'll be very interesting to see if the Astros can rebound. They did get the win on Wednesday night, so Astros are very, very talented of a team. I don't think there's much difference here between these two teams. Who gets the better pitching? Who gets better situational hitting? And there's going to be a lot of offense in these games as well. Jose Altuve is a marvel. I think the fact that he's been probably the backbone a lot of these teams that they've had, and they've kind of rebuilt it. Young Kyle Tucker is fantastic. Jeremy Pena is fantastic for them. Very interesting series. See what's happened with that. I know a lot of you Orioles fans, if you're like me, I kind of feel this way with Ravens football as well. The air's out of the balloon a little bit. The round after, now that the Orioles have been eliminated. So, but again, we're still going to keep an eye on this and see what's going on. All you baseball fans, definitely keep an eye on the Rangers and the Astros. I know it kind of feels like the air's out the balloon a little bit, but still, I think it's a good thing when you have two good teams like that. NLCS, Diamondbacks and the Phillies. Phillies aren't any joke. I say this. It's too bad that Bryce Harper's had so many injuries because he's so much fun to watch. So much fun to watch. Even now with the injury, it's not allowing him to play the outfield and play first base. I've got no problem leaving him at first base just to minimize his injuries. This guy, he's been. I've kind of said this. They go as he goes. When Bryce Harper is really rolling, Phillies are not going to lose a lot of games, and he's been rolling all through the playoffs. He's been fantastic for them. Diamondbacks, the glass slipper might be falling off a bit here. They are defensively the best team in the league, and they're kind of getting bludgeoned here by the Phillies. Phillies are really getting going. Now, again, haven't had home games yet. Let's see how they do once they actually get out to Arizona and actually play some games. But I'm really thinking the Phillies are going to go back to the World Series. Let's see if the Astros join it again and we get a rematch of last year. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes. One more baseball note I did want to mention, and we're going to talk Orioles free agency here in a second. The Norfolk Tides apparently have been sold this as well. So again, that's could be a bigger deal. From what we understand, not a lot will change in terms of them staying in the organization or moving. So I know for the long time the Orioles have been interested in having the entire AAA organization in Maryland. So we'll see how that goes now that they've been sold. The new owners, I think it's Diamond Sports Group, is apparently going to keep the team in Norfolk for now, and that's probably the way it's going to go. So maybe change, but definitely it is worth keeping an eye on. Okay, so let's check this out here. 2024 Orioles free agency. Okay, so free agency in baseball is a little different than it is in the NFL for several reasons. One, it's a slow burn as opposed to the NFL. I can do a video. I actually did videos, as a matter of fact. The first 3 days of free agency in the NFL is pretty much over. All the major players are gone. Here and there, like the Lamar thing took a long time or something like that. Baseball free agency, actually in more recent years, has kind of sped up a bit compared to the way it used to be, but it's a bit of a slow burn. Everything doesn't happen in one day, and guys have to wait much longer to get free agency. I'm explaining arbitration a little bit as best I know it. So basically, players need 6 full seasons to earn free agency in baseball. Okay, so and I'm just using football as a parable. So 4 years in the NFL, most players are earning free agency unless you're like a first round pick, then you might have a 5-year deal. They're allowed that 5-year deal. But after 4 years, you are allowed to get free agency in the NFL. Baseball, you need 6 full seasons before you actually get any free agency. So the team has control over the first 6 years. Guys that don't have a contract, they go through the arbitration process. Now, I'm not going to go through all the formulas for arbitration, but basically it's weighted in terms of performance and more or less tenure. So a guy's been through it, like Anthony Santander's third time, he's due about possibly $12 million. Whereas a young guy like Ryan McKenna, I think it's like less than $1 million. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're going at here. We're going to talk about guys arbitration here as well at the start. So this is a rough list. This list I can tell you right now, it's probably not perfect, but this is the best list we can get. These are guys who are going through arbitration for the first year, and we're going to talk a little bit about all these guys. Ryan McKenna. I don't think this one matters a whole lot. Ryan McKenna, I don't know if he's going to be on the team at all. I think they'll make him an arbitration offer. They may not. I would lean more towards them making an arbitration offer for him. And by the way, also too, if a guy doesn't get an arbitration offer, he is a free agent. So he can go out to the free agent market and sign with a different team. I think Ryan McKenna will offer. I don't think it's going to promise him anything, though. He's going to have to compete just for a spot on the roster, just like he would have had. Keegan Aikens, same. I'm not sure he gets an offer. I don't know how much they're going to do more with Keegan Aiken. I think probably the same, that he's going to go to the bullpen as well and take a spot, but we will see what happened with Keegan Aiken here as well. Jacob Webb was in the playoffs. I think he's on the roster. I think he was very not with the team a whole lot, but good enough down the stretch. I don't know if he wins an arbitration. I don't know how much for raise he gets. Probably in the middle. I think he goes ahead and stays. Tyler Wells, very interesting here. Definitely now in the bullpen. I think that's where he should have been the whole time. Wells, I think, was a good starter, but I think him in the bullpen, I think, is better. He's not much of a starter in terms of innings. That's probably why they just threw in the towel and said, all right, let's move this guy in the bullpen. Very good bullpen and good, tough decisions they're gonna have to make in the bullpen. Cole Irvin, here's another one guy. He's an older guy too. They're interested to see if they keep him. I think disappointing is fair. I think he wasn't as good as they had hoped. I think they were thinking when they got him from Oakland, he was going to be their number one starter or right around there. And he wasn't at all. He was in the bullpen. Let's see how that goes. Ramon Urias. Does he have a spot on his team? I don't know. I think he might be fighting with Jorge Mateo to go ahead and keep his spot. I'm certainly a believer that Jackson Holliday is going to be the starting shortstop next season. Is it going to be right out the bat? Is it going to be a start? Very interesting to see with Urias how much money they give him. Some of these guys, I think, may not get an offer. Colano Perez, I think, was fantastic at the end of this year. I think he was very rocky at the start. I thought he was excellent at the end. I think he's definitely, in my opinion, in the running for the closer for next year. Don't know if that's going to happen. I think Colano Perez, along with Yadier Molina, along with Colano Perez, along with Yanni Maria and DL Hall are the three names that are in the closer. Because we're definitely for sure not going to have Felix Bautista at all next season. And my boy, Ryan Mountcastle. Mountcastle is, I think, up for the Gold Glove right now. A little disappointing. I think he was off the field. I thought, though, he got better. I like Mountcastle a lot. He stopped swinging at so much garbage. He's definitely going to get a good race. No question about it. 18 home runs, I think, absolutely. Second-year arbitration. Dylan Tate, not sure he remains on the team. Was hurt all last year. I think he's definitely going to have to fight for a roster spot. Jorge Mateo is interesting. I think he would fit, believe it or not. As much grief as he gets, I think as a utility guy, look, he wasn't in AAA all year long. He's not going to hit a whole lot. But hey, look, Jackson Holliday needs a day off. Put him at third base. He runs real fast. He's probably your fastest guy on the team. I'm fine with keeping Mateo on the team. 2 outfield is going to be very, very interesting considering all the outfield talent that they have. Austin Hayes is going to go ahead, outstanding season as well. So good job for Austin Hayes. Look, Austin Hayes and Cedric Mullins had to fight off a lot of these prospects in AAA. So good for them even fighting these guys off. Mullins, I don't know how big of a raise he's going to get. Austin Hayes, break out the checkbook. He made the All-Star game. He was outstanding all season. I thought he was your best pure hitter. I think, like, in terms of hitting, as far as average, all around, doubles and stuff like that, he was very good. Arbitration third year. So these guys are in for the biggest race. Danny Columbi, no question about it. He's going to be on the team. I thought he was as good as anybody in the bullpen. The Orioles bullpen was the reason why they won 100 games, because the bullpen, whoever they threw out there was good. There was like, they had 7 or 8 guys that were really, really good. That's just like unheard. That's just unheard of. Ryan Hearn, basically off the scrap heap. Don't know what happens here. As good as he was last year. I think I say this, that they don't make him an offer, somebody will. Somebody's going to go ahead and actually sign Ryan Hearn after the year he had. Well-deserved after that. John Means, definitely he's going to be in your rotation. To me, he's your third or fourth starter now. I don't have him ahead of Bradish. I don't have him ahead of Grayson. And I'm not sure I have him ahead of Dean Kramer. So I think he's about third now. We'll see. Keep him healthy. You'll be great. And I can almost guarantee Mike Elias is going to say, hey, man, we're getting John Means. That's like a free agent signing. That's like we did something in the offseason. I can hear it already. Anthony Santander, has he priced himself off the team? We know the Orioles' finances, $12 million. That's a lot of money for a guy. I could say this. It's deserved. That's under. Look, he's led your team in home run RBIs 2 consecutive years. So that's can't pay him $12 million. I don't know what to tell you. Here are the 5s that are completely free agents. Okay, so those are arbitration guys are gone. These guys can sign with any team. They have their service time. They're squared away. Fuji is the guy here. I don't think he stays. I think he was a bit disappointing. I'm shocked he was getting so many high leverage situations. He's inconsistent. That's what I saw. A guy that with a lot of talent, great stuff, and inconsistent. Some nights he's great. Some nights he's not great. I don't think he's good. I think on a different team, I think he still has value. I don't think on this team with all the good relievers that they have that he stays. That's going to cost. Aaron Hicks. I don't think he stays either. Aaron Hicks, I would say, is a pleasant surprise. With all the injuries they had, Aaron Hicks, I think, was pretty good. Considering the circumstances he came in. You talk about, I talked about Mullins and Hayes and Santander keeping those great minor league prospects in the AAA. The other reason this year, Aaron Hicks did great. They were going to bring up a Colton Cowser, maybe a Hurt. They didn't do it because Aaron Hicks was so good. I think he might have bought himself a couple years in the league. Somebody is going to keep an eye on Aaron Hicks and actually do it. We will see. Jack Flaherty. This one just didn't work out. Flaherty, I think in his best interest, he probably should go back to St. Louis and take a shot at it where he had all his success. I don't think he's a cook player. I don't think he was just good in the last 2 months like they needed him to be. He's got a little tread on tire. I think he just struggled at the wrong time, and I think somebody out here will go. We'll see how he does the rest of his career. I see like a 2% chance for Flaherty. Even out of all the names we just said, we will see. I don't see him back at all. Adam Frazier is a free agent. He's the second best one, I think, on the list. Frazier hit the most home runs he's ever hit. I don't think there's anything too wrong with Frazier. I think he probably, as advertised, they got more home runs, and then his average dropped. I don't think he's going to start over Jordan Westburg. I think if you keep him, it's going to be a utility role. I don't think they're going to pay him what they're going to pay him. I think he does. I think he starts somewhere, though. I don't think he's in Baltimore necessarily, but I think he starts somewhere. Westburg should take over the starting role at second base full time next year. And here's the most interesting one: Kyle Gibson. So they certainly got their money's worth. He had 15 wins. I think he benefited from a lot of run support. I think it's very interesting to see what happens with Kyle Gibson going forward. Here's the thing with this: history now tells us that they don't keep these guys, right? So last year, Jordan Lyles kind of had 10 wins. They kind of let him go. There's a 1-year deal. He's an older guy. He's 35. I don't think, believe it or not, I don't think they keep these top guys. I think they're going to be hard to keep, but they're going to be too expensive. I think somebody's going to go ahead and sign him, and he's going to go to another team. The rotation, I think, is probably, look, you got, go over it again. You got Dean Kramer, you got Bradish, you got Grayson Rodriguez, you got John Means. So what is he? Was he a fifth starter? I think the fifth starter spot, I think, is going to be up for grabs. I think Chase McDermott is going to get a shot. He was their minor league pitcher of the year. And I don't think they're going to write off DL Hall yet. I think they maybe want to give him one more shot at the rotation and not necessarily put him in the bullpen. We're having the same question about DL again 2 years in a row. Where is he going to pitch? I would say, though, this year it's going to be in the major leagues. It's not going to be in Norfolk or anything like that. He's going to be with the big club in Baltimore. So Gibson, I think, is benefited from run support. I think job well done. I don't think they give him another $10 million to come back. I don't see it now that they have more pitching that they can rely on. So I don't think they're going ahead and do that. All right. So there you go. We got that squared away. So Orioles free agency, very interesting to see how the Orioles handle free agency. For me, it's easier to almost predict what the Ravens are going to do in some sense, because you kind of have an idea now. Ozzie Newsome was here. John Harbaugh has been here for a while. Eric DeCosta has been here. I kind of have a feel for, okay, what they would be thinking or what they're not thinking, what's definitely not going to happen. Starting to get that a little bit with Michael Eyes. When I think happens, honestly, not a lot. That's bad news. You'll see something, but I don't think you'll see a lot. I think you're going to see, they're going to say John Means is going to be a great addition. It's like we got another pitcher. Or a lot of people say, well, we're going to sign a close to get Batista. Well, we're so confident in the guys we already got. I don't think a lot happens. I think it'll be interesting. Santander is going to be interesting. Rarely does a guy price himself off in arbitration. He is up for $12 million in arbitration. Will they even pay it? Interesting. Considering the fact that you have so many good young players in the minors. Heston Kjerstad, he's ready for a promotion. Colton Cowser, ready for a promotion. So you're going to give Santander $12 million? We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens there with the Orioles. All right. So thank you very much for joining us on the Ravery Sports Podcast, the Baltimore Sports Podcast for fans like me. We will see you on Sunday after the Ravens and Lions game on Sunday, and we will go ahead and get that squared away. Enjoy all the games this weekend. Let's go ahead and get going. Have a good evening, and again, we will